are in Junction City, Ohio. We're in a rural area. We're out here about a mile and a half south of Junction City on 668. And we're looking now at St. Patrick's Catholic Church, the little church where I was born, baptized, First Communion, and confirmed here at this church, St. Patrick's Church, Junction City, Ohio. As you can see, it's a Gothic structure. There you see the cross, truck going by. I'll take you clear to the top where you see the very top of the church. And this is a Gothic structure. It's 1843, 1846, I believe, when it was built. Quite a long time ago. But I'll swing the camera a little bit here to the right and show you the parsonage. This is where the priest lives, in this building right here. Father Dodd is the present priest of St. Patrick's Church. And to the right, this brown brick building, this is our parish hall, which, by the way, I helped build when I was going to college. I helped the bricklayer, and I handed him the bricks. He did the job of putting the bricks in place. He knew what he was doing. That's the Harnetti farm down there. That's the white building. Used to be called the Burns family home. I'll swing a little further to the right, and down over this hill here, you'll see a little green house. That's the house in which I was born, 1925. And this goes down past a crossroads and on down to where my brothers Don and Merle Paxton live. As we come back this other way, and you'll see that we're perched up on top of a hill, and down the other way is a home of second cousins. That blue house is the Fox family. That's spelled F-U-C-H-S, Fox, pronounced Fox or Fuchs in German. Know where that car was. Okay, to the left of that is called the Harnetti family. That's the first cousins there. And that's the old Gus Harnetti family, which I have 5 cousins still living. 2 have died. And that's the Harnetti family. And the 2 of the youngest boys in that family are the ones who live down there in that little white house. I should say a big white house. It's a 2-story right down there. It's Jim and Francis Harnetti, but they call him Johnny Harnetti. Don't ask me why. This is a priest, where the priests are buried here in St. Patrick's Church. I believe the first priest that I knew was Father Dunn. Father Dunn was an Irish priest, and he died about 50 years old, and during the thunderstorm that we had here, and I remember the day when this thunderstorm occurred, and my mother had told me later that Father Dunn was struck by lightning. To the right of where the priests are buried is a little statue. I'll try to hold the camera steady. This is where they have a statue of the Blessed Virgin, and this is where my brother Don has the rosary services on Wednesday nights, and there are a few other parishioners that attend. Last night we attended a rosary service here, but rather inside the church because Father Dodd was there and decided to have Mass. So as you can see behind the pine tree, the statue of the Blessed Virgin. I'll bring her up closer to you with this camera. We're able to do so without moving. And there is the statue of the Blessed Virgin Mary here at St. Patrick's Church in Junction City, Ohio. Once again to the left, you'll see the cross on top, and the entrance says St. Patrick's Cemetery, and the little gate there to the left where the priests are buried. I only spoke of Father Dunn. Later came Father Owens, who I knew quite well as a little boy. He used to have an old car with a rumble seat. We used to enjoy riding and getting picked up on the highway by Father Owens, another Irish priest, and riding in the rumble seat of his car. It was quite a treat. Anyway, there is where the priests are buried. After Father Owens came Father William Spires. You'll see the flag right there. Father Spires was a priest who was here at St. Patrick's when this parish hall was built. He was quite ill. He had a very bad heart condition. He had been in the Army during World War II, and that flag that flies there is for Father Spires, and he was a chaplain in the Army during World War II. The Spires family originally come from Lancaster, Ohio. He was not Irish like the other two. And then there was two other priests that I didn't know quite as well. When I walk over there, I'll tell you their names, but have since deceased. And behind where the large crucifix is, where my dad and mother were buried. And as I swing back over this other way, like this, in front of the car, and on this corner is the tombstone of my grandfather, Sam Paxton, and his wife, who died before I was born. And I'll take you over there and show you closer pictures of Sam Paxton's tombstone right here on the corner, that big tombstone right there. I'll bring it up a little bit closer. But this is the one that faces the very corner of the highway and the corner of the cemetery. Sam Paxton, my grandfather, my dad's father. And I believe that's where Sammy, well, I'm certain it is, that's where little Rosie's son's name is Sammy Fink. And Sammy's name was picked from my grandfather here when little Rosie and her husband Chuck were driving by and wanted to name the little baby Sammy, which is a biblical name, of course. Okay, we'll come back over here, and I'm going to walk up this step leading to the front of the church here at St. Patrick's, and we'll get a little reading that appears above the doorway. And this is the doorway. Directly above it, there's some printing. I'll shut the camera off and walk up on top so I don't jiggle the camera too much. And I'll show you a close-up on it. Patrick's Catholic Church, Junction City, Ohio, my home parish when I was a little boy growing up here. And there's Irma standing up. Well, she's trying to go in the door. The door may be locked. This is the church. And I'll walk up the sidewalk here and show you the imprinting above the doorway, which shows the date the church was built here in 1986. I'm sorry, 1846. I'm very sorry. Getting overcome with emotion here. Here it is, the doorway leading to St. Patrick's. And above it, as you can see, and I'll bring this in a little closer, the cross above the door. It's this Gothic styled church. Directly above this, you'll be able to read, I think, that this church was built in 1846. I'll read you what it says right there. I'll try to come up a little closer. I know that I can read it with my eyes. Let's see if I can read it with the telescopic lens on. Okay, I have no trouble, so let me read it to you. St. Patrick's Church. I have chosen this place to myself for a house of sacrifice. My eyes also shall be open, and my ears attentive to the prayer of him that shall pray in this place. And as you can see, it's in the year of our Lord, 1846. It does say I'm sorry, let me put the camera where it belongs. It does say 2 Paralinominum V7, Roman numeral 7, chapter 12 to 15. Okay, possibly this is a passage then from the Bible. And I don't know what 2 Paralinum, 7th chapter, 12 to 15th is. I intend to get the Bible out and look it up when I get back. Okay, that's it for now. We'll walk over once again to where the priests are buried here at St. Patrick's Church. I'm sorry the truck just went by and I hope it didn't fade me out. Now we'll walk over there. Have the statue of the Blessed Virgin Mary here at St. Patrick's Church. I'll walk over and come a little closer because there is a big stone at the foot of the statue pertaining to I believe they called him the liberator of Bulgaria, who was born in this area here. His name was, well, as you can see here, his name was, in 1844, the birthplace, 1878, I guess he was born in 44, and died on 78. That was in 19th century. 19th century. Janarius A. Magan, erected by the Magan Club, June the 20th, 1909. Okay, and he was known as the liberator of Bulgaria, but he was born in this area. That's quite historical, and they have a great big monument in New Lexington, Ohio, maybe 6 miles from here, to Janarius A. Magan. And I would have to think that's either Irish or Scotch, as this parish was made up of mostly Irish, Scotch, and German many years ago. I'll show you in the older part of the cemetery where there were mostly Irish buried, and their tombstones indicate such. And now we'll walk over to where the priests are buried here in this little cemetery. One moment. Again, you see here at St. Patrick's Cemetery the United States flag, the flag of Ohio, St. Patrick's Cemetery, the gate entranceway, and then directly in front of me is the grave sites of the priests who were here. There was a Monsignor O'Donnell. There again we have Irish. I didn't know Monsignor O'Donnell, but apparently he died here in 1982. Father Spires I did know. He was from Lancaster, Ohio, and during World War II he was a chaplain in the Army. Father Don I knew, the Irish priest who was struck by lightning in the year of 1931. At that time I was 6 years old, and I do remember it. My mother told me about it. Father Owens, another Irish priest, a fine old Irish from County Cork, as I recall. That was his home. He died in the year of 1949. Father Wiggins was here. I faintly remember him. I believe he married my younger brother and his wife. That's Don and Maceo Paxton. He was buried here in the year of 1971. And then to the left here, we have the priest that I did not know at all, because he was before my time. And apparently he was ordained to priesthood in 1905, born in 1881, and died in 1966. His name was Father Gallerini, which is, of course, Italian. Okay, now I'm sorry that I didn't know him. I know that up here on the other side of this fence is another Gallerini, and I would have to assume that's either his mother or possibly his sister, buried in that area right there behind the fence. Also, in front of the fence, we have the crucifix of Christ on the cross, directly here behind the tombstones of the priests who served the needs of the community of St. Patrick's Parish, Junction City, Ohio. Behind him, I'll show you the cemetery. The one that I'll focus in first is a tombstone of my mother and dad, and that was John and Mary Paxton. And I'll bring it up to focus. I believe we can catch it here. Yes, it says Paxton. And on the left side, Mary, and on the right side, John, my mother and dad. Oh, I miss them. To the right side of this gate are mostly Irish descent. Mostly Irish names on all these tombstones over here. Okay. Then I'll go out here after I swing the camera around, sweep around here and show you some of these tombstones. Some of them have been here for years and years. As you'll see, there are a few of them that have the angels on top, our guardian angels, I would assume, right there, which was the choice of tombstones in that era. Now I'll walk toward the front and show you the picture of the tombstone of my grandfather Sam. I'll shut the camera off until I get there. The tombstone of my grandfather Sam Paxton and my grandmother, who I never knew, whose name was Anna. As you can see, she was born the same year. She died the same year that I was born. So I never got the chance to know my grandmother. I certainly didn't know my grandfather. I used to work for him on the farm when I was going to school and earned enough in a whole summer to buy a bicycle. Can you imagine? Boy, what a long summer. Anyway, I bought the bicycle, and I had the bicycle for a number of years, and I saved all my pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters that Grandfather used to give me for helping him. Okay, and then to the left, we have my Uncle Tom Paxton. Okay, and he died in 1982. His wife's name is Aldra, but we always have referred to her as Jerry. We visited Aunt Jerry just a few minutes ago before coming over here. Okay, then to the left we have Frank Paxton. Frank was a brother of my father, so he would be my uncle, but I understood that he had a paralyzed arm. It was either the right or the left, I'm not sure which, but at any rate, the arm that was not paralyzed was extremely strong. And they said he was quite able to take care of himself. But he did have a problem with epilepsy. He died also in 1925, so of course I never got to know Frank. And as you can see, I'll just sweep through here, cousins by the dozens. McGreevy's here. On further down here, we have the Harnettys. By the way, the old Harnetty farm is right down there. Harnetty farm, right there. Uncle Gus used to have peach trees, apple trees, and little plums, I guess you name it. He had a beautiful, beautiful orchard. Great memories of Uncle Gus. Okay. Let's just travel down here and I'll show you a few of these tombstones, the Clarks, the Conkle, Edmondson, Geisinger, Steenrod. Okay, I'll stop on this Steenrod because this is a friend of mine from childhood days. This is not him there, Paul N, but rather that's his father's name. And his father died in 1980. Now, Paul that I was speaking of, a childhood friend, lives now near Atlanta, Georgia. And we have visited with him. He's retired from having worked a number of years with an airline down there, Delta Airlines. Once again, about a third cousin there, Steenrod. There's Genslers. There's Metzgers, and Clarks, lots of Clarks. Oh my. Anyway, this is our cemetery here, Murphy's. Okay. I'll go back over to the other side of the cemetery. One moment, please. Before I leave Steenrod tombstone, I'll swing run to the right, as I just noticed, and it's Annie Catherine Clark, and her husband, Francis H. Clark. This is a tombstone of my godparents. They stood for me when I was born, and these are my godparents. And Annie Clark is indeed the mother of Paul Steenrod Sr. And she allowed her grandson, Paul Jr., to come in the summertime to visit with her and spend the summer, and we rode bicycles together, went swimming together with Paul Steenrod Jr., who lives in Atlanta, Georgia now. Church overlooks in the distance the beautiful countryside here in Junction City, Ohio. The city is down there behind Irma, the city of Junction City. And this church is built on top of a hill out in a rural area, 1.5 miles from town. But truly a beautiful sight. Beautiful countryside. It's a little hazy today. I don't know if I can help it by possibly getting better pictures, bringing it up closer from a distance. Yes, I can. Beautiful countryside here in rural Ohio, Junction City, Ohio. As you can see, the Irish names, Hennessy, Quinn. And I'll move on over just a moment. My mom and dad, John and Mary Paxton. I'll move in closer so you can see their dates of their deaths and births and their final resting place. My mother died first on July the 28th, 1985. My dad died August the 26th, 1985. They had been married for over 60 years, but yet death separated them by a mere 29 days, less than 1 month. Quite unusual. God rest their souls. To the right of my mom and dad's tombstone is my youngest brother's name, Donald, and his wife's name is Mayseal. And they live about a 1/2 mile south from here. I think Irma will have pictures of their home later on this film. German, Wallenberg Bailey, the Finks, quite a few Finks here, the Crosbys, the Gilligans, once again Irish. The Gilligans are the big ones far down there. I think I can bring that up all right. Once again, we're getting into the Irish graveyard. You can see the tombstones are quite old. A lot of these were immigrants from Ireland. If we took the time to show you each tombstone, you'd soon see that they were born in various parts of Ireland, and they were immigrants here, and we were very fortunate indeed to have had fine Irish priests here at St. Patrick's Church, Junction City, Ohio. Here we are at the back of the church, and I'll show you the structure from here. And once again, the rear of the church, below the parsonage, and to the left of the parsonage, the hall, the parish hall, and directly behind the little greenhouse with the slate roof, the house where I was born in 1925. That's it there, folks. That house right there. Okay, and then we slide over here, and we have behind the trees, quite a few big trees here too. Let me sweep and show you the size of some of these big maple trees. Of course, you saw the pine trees there. Okay, now we'll sweep from back here to the big tall maple trees. As you can see, they're quite large, and they offer a great deal of beautiful shade when the sun's shining. It's not shining today, but it's very comfortable. It must be about 68 degrees, but it is cloudy today. And once again, the entrance to the gate to the cemetery on this side. The stone of Charles Gentry, who was my scoutmaster when I was in the Boy Scouts. He was in the glider division during World War II, and he died 1979. As you'll see, there are quite a few flags here, soldiers who have served St. Patrick's in their childhood days, but later grew up to fight for their countries. And their flags are their remembrance. St. Patrick's Church, St. Patrick's Cemetery, Junction City, Ohio.